Hey everyone, welcome back to the Toal Tribe channel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Laurient, and in lieu of it being Infertility Awareness Week, I just wanted to sit down and share some words of encouragement and things to remember for everybody that's struggling with infertility, all of the parents in waiting. I personally know how hard that struggle is, and I know that when I was in the thick of it on those bad days, I needed somebody to encourage me, to lift me up, to keep me going. And anytime that I'm afforded the ability to do that for other people, I love to be able to do so, as well as just bringing some more awareness to infertility, because we're making some great progress. There's so many more people talking about it than there were when I started out on my journey. And it's great to see everybody coming together and forming a community and sharing their stories. And I just want to keep that momentum going. And so anytime that I can bring more awareness to this topic, like, I want to do so. So for anybody who's new, again, I'm Laurient. Welcome. My husband Mike and I are part of the 1 in 8 couples that struggle with infertility. Our story is a lot like many other couples who are struggling. First came love, then came marriage, and then just when things were getting good, came infertility. Mike and I were married in 2015. We were all of 25 years old, and right after we got married, we were just so excited to just dive in and start growing our family. Now, we weren't entirely naive. We knew that it was gonna take some time. We didn't think it was gonna happen overnight, but I don't think either of us could have ever anticipated that we were going to end up going through what we went through. So we started our TTC journey at the end of 2015, and that first year was really difficult for us. It was a year of learning and growing and changing, but it was also really lonely and felt really isolating. I am embarrassed to say that when we started out on our trying to conceive journey, Mike and I really didn't know a lot about our fertility or our reproductive systems. Like, you know, you have the general idea of how everything works, but you don't know like the real science behind everything until you like really dive deeply into there. You don't know the percentages that you have every month of getting pregnant. Like, you don't really know any of that. And so we had to do a lot of research and a lot of learning, and we did. And we started using OPKs, and we started taking my body temperature in the morning so that we can kind of track that way. Doing all of those things was entirely tedious, and none of it helped us at all. And then, like I said, that year was also really lonely, and I felt so isolated because we hadn't shared with anybody that we were trying to conceive. We didn't tell family. I think I only told like 2 girlfriends. The reason we didn't really tell anybody was because we wanted it to be a surprise. We didn't want people to be expecting the "we're pregnant" announcement. We just wanted everybody to be totally caught off guard, and it just didn't play out like that. And by not having people in our corner that knew what we were going through, it was just really hard, because on those rough days where you just needed somebody to talk to vent to, I just didn't have that because I was trying to keep this all to myself. 2017, I saw my regular OBGYN who said, like, you know what, Laurient, it's probably just your cycles are a little erratic. Here, let's regulate you. We'll put you on some Clomid, try this for 3 cycles, and let's see what happens, but I'm so sure you're going to be fine. 3 cycles passed. Nothing happened except my hormones were literally out of control, and I felt like a crazy person. So then we were referred to a fertility specialist, and it took us some time to actually make an appointment and get in that office, because it's just a really scary thing to go through. We went to see the fertility specialist in 2018, and by that point, guys, like, we were just looking for an answer. We never expected to go in there and hear like, oh, everything looks fine, y'all check out perfectly, like, go ahead, keep trying naturally, it'll happen. Like, it had been years. We knew that without having any success in 2+ years, there was definitely something wrong. We just wanted to know what it was. And after all of that testing, to hear that they really didn't know why we were having such a hard time was like a punch to the gut. We were diagnosed with unexplained infertility. Being told that there was no like one definite reason why we were having such a hard time conceiving was just, that was hard for me. I was like, it has taken me years to get here. Years for me to finally be open and willing to accept and no longer be in denial that there's something wrong. And you're telling me that out of all of the blood you've taken, all of the tests you've done, all of the samples, everything, you don't know what the problem is? It was hard, and it continued to be hard after that. Ultimately, my husband and I ended up pausing our trying to conceive journey, and we decided to pursue a different path. We are now parents. We have a almost 2-month-old son by way of domestic infant adoption. But now that I've been removed from the world of infertility, not that you're ever fully removed, but we're just not trying right now, I'm able to look back, like hindsight is 2020, and there's just so many things now that I wish I knew then that if you are going through infertility right now, I want to share these things with you because I think that they could make a difference and help you moving forward. So for starters, I want you to remember that you are strong, even in the moments when you feel the weakest, because you are going through something that, while there are many people that understand your struggle, your journey is uniquely yours. There is strength in you having your own unique story, and you just need to find that. And for me, honestly, I felt the strongest when I began sharing my struggle and my story with people. Before that, I felt like infertility was controlling me and that I had no control over my life. And this dark cloud of infertility was constantly looming overhead and affecting every decision I made, the way I interacted with people, just everything. And the moment I opened up and said, like, this is what I'm going through, this is my story, everything changed. And not to be lame, but like the clouds parted and all of a sudden I felt freed and I felt stronger because that story was out there. When I first started sharing my story, I was blogging, so I shared it on my blog. And then when I started my channel, I talked about it on here. Now, I'm not saying that you need to get on an internet platform or scream it from the rooftops, but share it with the people that matter to you most. Share it with your family and your friends. Let them know what you're going through and let them be there for you. Next thing to remember is that while you will feel alone quite a bit on your journey, you are not alone. 1 in 8 couples are affected by infertility. That's 6.7 million people every year in the US. That is a lot of people. Chances are you know another couple that is struggling too. And again, by sharing your story with the people closest to you, you might be able to weed out the other people that are struggling too, and you might be able to create a support system for yourself. And that's something I really recommend that you do, whether that be family or friends that you know that are also going through that, or you reach out further and find a support group of people. One of the things that I did when I started sharing my story actually is I started following different hashtags on like Instagram that were related to what I was talking about. And I found other women, other bloggers, other influencers that were also sharing their infertility stories. And I would comment on their posts and they would in turn comment on mine, and we would DM and talk about the things that we were going through. And I felt like I was part of this small community online of just like other women struggling that were like lifting each other up. And that was a really amazing thing. And it really helped me, especially on days when I felt like I was so alone and nobody knew what I was going through. Now, this next one is really, really important. You have to remember this, that you are better together. Infertility is so hard, and it has the ability to destroy marriages, break down relationships, and just really affect your life in a very negative way if you let it. It's going to be hard, like so hard, I won't even lie to you. But you need to take this as an opportunity to grow together with your partner and become stronger from what you go through as a team. I would be lying to you if I told you that when Mike and I were going through our infertility struggles, everything was perfect. We were always good and in sync, and we always felt empowered by each other. Like, no, there were some really, really dark days, dark moments in that time period. I mean, we started trying right after we got married. We were basically newlyweds, finding out that there was something really wrong with us. It's hard. Neither one of you wants to be the person that's the reason, and you don't want to let your spouse down. And then you see your spouse upset and crying and you don't really know what to do. And it's hard, and it has the ability to tear you apart if you let it. You are better together. You will get through it together. You just have to work at it, and you have to listen to each other, and you have to communicate all of the time, like almost over communicate, but you will get through it and everything will be okay. Next thing is that it's okay to pause your journey or pursue an alternative path. That is not giving up. Just like infertility can damage relationships, it can really, really damage your mental health and even your physical health if you neglect certain physical things because you're solely focused on your reproductive health. It can be really, really damaging. And so you need to know when you have to take a break. Mine and Mike's TTC journey, we took a few breaks every now and then. Some were longer than others. And by breaks, I just mean that we weren't obsessively checking whether I was ovulating or not. We just kind of went with the flow and tried not to think about it as best we could. But I think it's really important to know when you need a break. I don't think you could just keep charging at infertility full speed, especially when you start to go through fertility treatments. That stuff is really, really hard on your physical health. It's really, really hard on your body. It can be really mentally trying as well, especially going through all of the medications and the injections and everything else. And if you're in IVF, the egg harvesting and the transfers, that can be so hard on your mental health. You have to know when you have to take a step back. And by pausing your journey and saying, I can't do this right now, but I'm gonna pick this up again later, like that doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're tapping out. It just means that you know that you need a break and you have to take care of yourself first and foremost. As far as pursuing an alternative path to parenthood, that's what Mike and I ended up doing. We're parents by way of adoption, and that journey was a struggle in itself, and that journey was really hard too. It wasn't any less hard than going through infertility treatments. It was just a different kind of hard. But now that we have our son, I can't imagine our life going any differently. Like for us, this is the way it was supposed to happen. And in your research of alternative paths to parenthood, you might find that certain options are more fitting for your family than others, and that's great. You might not want to charge down that path full steam ahead right now. You might want to wait. You might want to put it on the back burner as plan B, but it's just nice to know what your options are. And lastly, even on the hardest days, you need to remember that that moment that you're waiting for is coming. Keep dreaming about it, keep speaking it into existence, keep praying for it, keep fighting for it. It's coming, it's just coming in its own time. I know that that's hard. I know that there are days when it's easier for you to just say, you know what, forget this, it's never gonna happen for me. Like I have definitely been there myself, and I have definitely said my fair share of terrible, terrible negative things, but it can happen. You just have to continue to believe and have faith that it will. Ultimately, if having a family is what you want, whatever way you choose to build out that family, you have to pursue it fiercely. That's what I've learned on this journey. Whether it's infertility, whether it's adoption, like whatever it is, you have to pursue it fiercely. And just think to the future. One day your baby will be in your arms and you'll be able to share with them the story of how hard you fought to make your family happen. And that's gonna be an incredible story. So while the struggle is real, you're not in this alone. All 6.7 million of us are in the same boat, fighting to make our family dreams a reality. I encourage you to find strength in your story, share it with others, and find your tribe, the people that are going to encourage you and motivate you to keep moving forward even on the hardest days. I would love to be part of your tribe if you'd have me. You can send me private messages anytime over on Instagram. My handle is down below. It's at Laurient Toal. I'd love to be able to support you and create a community of parents in waiting supporting each other. As always, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. You can leave any comments or questions you have down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more content in the future, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.